The 23rd of March marks the anniversary of the lockdown, when life for all of us was turned completely upside down. As it happens, the appointed psalm for today's communion service is Psalm 102, which begins with these words, "O Lord, hear my prayer, and let my cry come to you." We've probably never prayed quite so much as we have over this last year, as we've coped with losses at so many different levels. The loss of loved ones, each one precious, but maybe not fully mourned. For some, the loss of health, others for the loss of employment, and for all of us, the loss of contact with our friends and family, whom we've missed so much. And alongside these losses, there's been a sense of weariness and anxiety that we probably never experienced before over such an extended period. But in our prayer, we also have so much to give thanks for across the diocese and across our communities, for the bravery and amazing work of critical workers, for our schools, both staff and students as they've soldiered on, and of course for our chaplaincies and parishes, as together we've rapidly learnt the art of online church with all the vocabulary of Zooming and unmuting and live streaming. Online worship, both on Sundays and midweek, has attracted and engaged people from across the globe, and more significantly, people who've never come across the doors of our churches before. We've also seen small groups grow and attract new people, parents with small children, the elderly who are housebound and don't usually come out in the evenings have been able to access groups that have deepened our love for one another and our love for the Lord. So we thank God for all you have done and for all the creativity and resilience that you have shown over this last year.
Serving those in need has always been an important part of our calling in the Diocese of Manchester, and lockdown certainly hasn't stopped us. We've appreciated all those who serve as critical workers in the National Health Service, in our hospices and care homes, and those involved in unsung ways in our supermarkets, delivery drivers and the like, many of whom worship in our churches and live out their vocation on wards and retail outlets. Our church schools have done an inspirational and an amazing job providing both online and in-person education, often at great personal cost. Our churches have partnered with other organisations to keep food banks going, as food poverty has increased, especially for children over this last year. Churches have combated loneliness, as they've gone out of their way to make sure that those who live alone receive a phone call or a message or contact of some kind week by week. In recent weeks, those who have gone for a vaccination are likely to encounter one of our church members serving as volunteers alongside others from the community. We can rightly be proud of all the ways in which we have learnt to love our neighbours over this last year. Thank you so much.
Now we're approaching Holy Week, journeying with Jesus on the way of the cross. We've been so conscious of his presence with us in the people we serve, in the worship we offer, in the suffering we endure, and in the love that we share. But on the horizon is Easter Day, with all the joy of his risen presence. We're so glad that most of our churches will be open that day, even if wearing masks and restrictions on singing will make our celebrations a little different. On the horizon too is the loosening of restrictions as the vaccination programme is rolled out. We have the hope of returning to some kind of normality without losing some of the lessons of our online experience. Sharing hospitality, coffee after church, face-to-face meetings will all be such a joy and privilege. We won't take them for granted. The wonder of Easter is that we will share the journey ahead with the risen Jesus. Just as he walked with the disciples on the road to Emmaus and was recognised in the breaking of bread, we too will be alert to his presence with us. The road ahead will still require persistence and determination. There will be twists and turns on the way out of restrictions, so we keep praying and crying to God. But whatever may come, This we know, his presence will be with us. May each of you know the presence and blessing of the crucified and risen Christ in the days to come.